morning, good afternoon, or good evening, friends. Wherever you are in the world, happy Thursday. Yeah, happy Thursday. We've made it past the halfway point of the day, or of the week, sorry. We've made it way past the halfway point of the day. In fact, the sun's already going down because it gets dark too early now. But yeah, I moved my picture over so it's not blocked by my head so you can actually see the beautiful tea-themed art print that's happening back there. Yeah, so as the a long stream title suggests, we are doing some more stitching. We're finishing our Studio Ghibli tier list countdown, or our ranking countdown. And then we are also going to do a couple giveaways today in honor of reaching our 200 follower milestone. If you do ! giveaway, it will show you a link to the giveaway where you can purchase tickets, or you can put !enter, and I don't know how many you can get, but I think it will automatically enter you in with one ticket. Everyone gets an opportunity, depending on how many channel points you have, to get up to 10 tickets per giveaway. And I think we'll draw a name at 4 and then another one at 6. So we have 2 of our 7 giveaways that we're going to be doing this month. So we have 2 options. So yeah, that's what's happening today. Other than that, we're keeping things super chill. Emphasis on the chill because it's freaking freezing out today. Shadow and I went on a frigid forest exploration today, which he was loving. I think because he wasn't getting overheated, obviously, while he was zooming around. So he actually didn't want to go home right away. He got a second wind and was just absolutely full of the beans, which was good. I think part of the reason, though, why he had a little more energy into him is because we left our ball launcher at Liam's aunt's place during the family Christmas party. So I can't throw for shit. So trying to throw a ball for Shadow to run after, he's like already a good 10 feet in front of me when I throw it, and I can just about throw it to him, let alone throw it past him to run after it. So I think he was a little bit disappointed with that, and that could have explained why he didn't run out of energy as quickly today. But it was good. I haven't posted them yet, but I took some frigid mushroom photos, some frost-covered shrooms. I haven't taken the time to sit down and like go through my little mushroom identification book, but I did make sure to take photos of the mushrooms from a couple different angles, because in all of the apps and things, like in identification books, you have to look at the stem, the top part of the mushroom, the underside of the top part where the gills are, and there's a few different things to look for in terms of helping you identify the mushroom type. So I made sure to take multiple angles, not just the gram-worthy, front on shot. So I will see how that goes. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to do that yet, because as soon as we got back from our woodland adventure, I needed to pop out to the mall for a bit. So I haven't really sat down a whole lot today, but in a good way. It was good training for Shadow, who is now, successfully lasted. He did an hour and a half by himself today, so I'm very proud of him. He did very well. Yeah. So as you can see, we are almost finished the second page of our Howl's Moving Castle. So hopefully, actually, today we can flip the page again. That would be exciting, because we have to just fill this in. There's 3 outstanding stitches there. And then I think we'll be good to go. Actually, before I forget, before we commence our movie watching again, let me pull up our films so I remember what to talk about when we get to that point. There we go. Cool. But first we stitch. But yeah. It was really nice because we have two sort of main malls. So we have a big one, which is about a 20-minute drive, and then we have the one that I used to work in, which is about half that time. So I just went to the one that was local to us. But it was really cool to take a look in there because I hadn't been there for a while because, you know, I try not to leave the house if I can avoid it. If I'm not going out of the house to walk with Shadow, I don't care for it. But it was cool because they recently opened an HMV in our local mall. So I got to see that, and it's really nicely laid out. It's actually better. It has a much nicer layout than the HMV in the sort of large main mall near us. So that was really cool, having a little wander around there. It's so funny because I'm watching Naruto, and now Naruto Shippuden with Liam. I'm watching it for the first time, and he's like rewatching it, showing me what it is. Every time I see like Naruto themed merch and stuff, I get all excited. There's a whole ass Naruto themed sushi set, which I just think is the coolest thing ever. And I want like my own pair of chopsticks. And I just think it would be really badass if I had a whole Naruto chopstick set. But yeah, so it's good. They have lots of cute stuff. They had a few actually. Well, it's more the Japanese style, like drinks and food and things, because there's another like kind of game tabletop board game cafe geeky store in the mall as well, and they have a lot of like international snacks and like sort of fun little things like that. And so I don't know if HMV is sort of coming for their brand a little bit. I know HMV is like the bigger conglomerate, but they have a few different sort of snacks as well, but I think not enough to ruin the niche of the movie, the geeky store. I don't know, I think it's called the Movie Shack or the Game Shack. Can't remember what it's called. But that's like the local one. And then HMV is the larger one, obviously. Got tea today. I forget what this one is called. I have a tea advent calendar because of course I do. It was really funny because Liam and I were talking about advent calendars because both of us, well, I've had more of a sweet tooth lately. He definitely has a sweet tooth, but we don't eat sweets in the morning. We like wait until the afternoon and things. And a lot of times the chocolate and advent calendars from his memory is that they don't taste very good. So we were sort of like, well, it feels weird to just buy your own advent calendar. But we got Shadow one, and then I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like let's treat ourselves. And so the other day when I was at the large mall, I ended up picking up a couple advent calendars for us. So I got a tea one for myself, which I got on sale because obviously I bought it like 2 days before the start of December, which I think is the way forward because then you have a couple days you can open. You know, you can sort of backlog your advent calendar. And then I got Liam one I actually found it at Waterstones. It's like this little, I don't know what you call it, a retro game, or like a little sort of like tech advent calendar kind of. So every day you get a different little component. Like you have a switch, and then you have, you know, like little lights and a little battery pack and like little buttons and things like that. And you create your own games on this little switch. And so each day you get a new piece to then upgrade and create a different game. So one of the ones, it was like a motion sensor test. So you have to press the button and every time the light turns on. Another one, it's like a slot machine. So you have to try to press the button and make all 3 of the lights light up. So just like little simple games, but it's cool that you get to sort of program that. So you have something like different to sort of tinker around with. Cause Liam's very much an like activity based person. So if you can get him like a gift that involves him actually doing something, I think he appreciates that more instead of like just a passive consumption gift. So I try to. It's not always possible, but I try to get him things that he can interact with because I think he prefers those. But yeah, so that's what I'm drinking. It's a green tea. I can't remember what it's called, like holiday something. So, but it's a green tea from my tea advent calendar that I bought at Boots with my Boots points. So that was nice. See if Shadow joins us later. He started in the comfy chairs, but maybe he'll come over and have a little cat nap with the sun coming in. Though to be fair, the sun's past this point now. It was shining in through the window, and now it is nowhere to be found. Monsieur Scruffball is going to the groomer tomorrow. That's why we don't have a stream day tomorrow, which is very needed. Sir is desperately in need of a shower slash groom slash bath. But it'll be good. Just making sure I know where I'm going with this. Okay. But yeah, and then hopefully I'm definitely gonna pick up probably a couple. I'll probably pick up like 2 ball launchers. So one that can live in the backpack for when we go for forest walks, one that'll live in the car when we go places, and maybe just another spare one just in case. We always tend to leave things at people's places. Not the important things, but like I think it's because we were obviously playing with the toy with Shadow outside. And then we came inside and didn't bring, well, I didn't, Liam didn't. Don't tell him, I'm snitching on him. He didn't bring it inside, so then we left it. Because that happened last year as well. We had a giant Kong for Shadow, but we had him eating it outside while everyone was having Christmas dinner inside, because that was his first time having Christmas dinner. What's going on here? Yeah, and then what ended up happening is, just want to make sure, so this is actually going to come across here and go down here, so I think that that's fine. I think I made like a misstitch up here somewhere, so that's impacting where I put the other stitches moving forward, but I think I've figured out how to correct this. All good. Because then this will be maybe not then. Actually, I've changed my mind. There we go. There we go, sorta, kinda. Is that gonna work out the way I want it to? We are taking some creative liberties here. That should work. Yeah, okay. Okay, just making some slight tweaks to the pattern because I don't know what I did, but obviously I did something that sort of messed with the flow. But it's okay. We will figure it out. So then if that does that, and this does that. Let me just kind of pretend that that's what we've done. Then it should work out all right. Part of me thinks that it was this I went too high with, but whatever. Alright. But yeah, let's get some stitching in and then we will finish. We actually might have to push back. So giveaways might have to happen at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. just because gotta give people a chance to buy tickets. Actually, here, what I'll do. If I do this. That one. And then you can click the link in the Stream Elements response to that and purchase your tickets that way. Or like I said, you can do ! Enter and then that will give you a couple of tickets. Or I think one at a time. I think you maybe have to type enter multiple times and you get one ticket per time, I think. Don't quote me on it though. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was like -2. That was the lowest it was today. And just to give perspective, they've been, well, and again, it's different because again, the infrastructure isn't there. And of course, everyone's going through a bit of like a fuel, like a natural gas crisis a little bit. So the council has sort of declared like a weather emergency or like an extreme weather warning. Which is wild because extreme weather warnings in Canada mean it's like -40 degrees with the wind chill. But yeah, extreme weather warning in the UK, or at least here, is -2. So we will see. But I definitely have realized that being in the UK for 5 years has completely depleted my cold tolerance. So I can't even imagine if I were to go back to Canada in the dead of winter, how I would cope. I was chatting with my parents on Monday, and they had mentioned how it was like so much snow and like -20 degrees out. And that wasn't even with the wind chill, that was like as a base. And I was like, oh, like just getting cold just thinking about it. The only benefit I could see, because again, I've had 20 plus years of snow. I really don't ever need to spend lots of time with snow for the rest of my life. But one of the benefits I do see of it is that the white snow coverage, especially when it has that bit of like a glassy sheen to it, reflects the sun. So I feel like you're getting a lot more brightness. It doesn't feel nearly as gray as it does here. And I think the reason behind that is just because of how reflective snow-covered spaces can be, which I think is a benefit. So that's the only benefit, aside from, you know, also when it's not stupidly cold, when it's nice and snowy and you're bundled up, as a kid, making snow forts and giant snowmen is also a fun time. That was the one thing that I did feel that the Canadian winters were a benefit. Is Liam told me that there was never enough snow for him growing up to build snow forts, and I was like, ooh, sucks to suck. I think my nephew would really enjoy that if he could get past the cold. I'm not sure if he's a fan of like the snow and the cold. I'll have to ask my in-laws. Again, I don't think he's had much experience with it, so I guess it's kind of hard to tell in that respect, but yeah, I wonder if he likes the snow when he's experienced it enough. Here where I'm cutting it off. I have no idea what happened to warrant the artistic changes that I'm making to the pattern. Whoops. Oh well. Been very happy because Pretzel Rocks has blessed me with the chill piano playlist. The chill piano playlist. It's no peaceful piano playlist, but it will do. Let's just fill some of this in. So we're almost done this section, and then this color is also used for these 3 little nubs over here. Next question is, when we ultimately finish this page, where would I like to go next on the pattern? We shall see. My parents, I think it was on the Tuesday actually, so last stream, my mom messaged our like family group chat and was just checking to make sure, because they were like, oh, we got, I don't know if it was an email or a text notification about a delivery that they obviously like needed to maybe pay fees on or whatever, and so she messaged being like, oh, have me or my brother sent anything to them? And I was like, I have sent something to you, but I've not gotten confirmation that it's been shipped out yet, so I assume that that's not what the message is from. My brother was like, no. So my mom did some digging, and I guess there's a new, which makes, well, it doesn't make sense. It's sad that it makes sense, but I guess there's a new holiday scam out there. So everyone be wary and make sure that your parents are wary of potential scammers out there. I think this one was like, my mom said it was from Saudi Arabia. So there's a few different, I guess probably like Christmas ones, or I think it was, yeah, it was a UPS one. So it was a UPS delivery scam. So keep an eye on that. All right. Yeah, I have no idea how this got as messed up here as it did, but that's okay. We're not going to question it. We're just going to go with it, and no one will know. No one will know the difference, and that's fine. One of the things I was thinking, I think I've talked about this. I talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, but I think what I want to do next week for stream is make needle felt a tree topper, because that's one of the things that Liam and I don't have on our Christmas tree, is like something to go on the very top of the tree, whether it be like an angel or a star or whatever. I think I'll do a star. And yeah, I think I have enough like sort of white yellow wool that I can make something that will then go on the top of the tree. Because like I said, we don't have anything up there right now. To be fair, we don't have anything on the tree right now. I did bring the tree, I did set the tree up, but I haven't decorated it yet. It just feels like we've already been in Christmas mode for like a whole month. And it's been a lot. So it's this weird feeling of like, this has already been going on for so long. Why haven't we decorated? Why isn't the tree up yet? It's like literally, what is it? It's like finally the second week of of December. So I'm like getting really really worked up and panicky over nothing. But yeah, I think it's just because it's been like in the forefront of my brain since literally like mid-November. So I think it's made it difficult to really feel like it's been a slower time period. But yeah, no rush, because I feel like last year we were very adamant on like there's no point in decorating until like mid-December sort of thing. Not that there's no point, but just that like it's not something that, I don't know, I think it took me a long time to get really festive last year. And to be fair, I don't know if I'm in a festive spirit, but I'm more just like, I don't know, like it's not that I'm feeling festive and want to decorate, it's more that it feels like we're falling behind because everyone's already like in the thick of their festivousness, if that makes sense. Even though, again, there's no rhyme or reason to it. All right. Last color on page 2. And then we get to flip the page. I'm wondering if maybe over here might be a good place to go next. I have a smaller strand that I could use, but I think I'm going to go for the full-size one. Just so that we can finish all of it with a single strand. I like to do minimal thread switches if I can avoid it. I ran into somebody today during the forest walks whose sister has lived in Canada for like 20 years. And he was talking about how he had been out there like in the summer and how he was too nervous to go in the dead of winter. And I was like, yeah, I don't blame you. But yeah, he was talking about sort of whereabouts he had visited and things. So that was really cool. It's always really interesting to me. Actually, it was really interesting because he was asking whereabouts specifically in Canada I was from. And I don't know if that was... Sometimes I always wonder if people are just really good at accents. And I guess if he had family in Canada, he would probably be able to sort of peg the accent a little bit better. I think especially because he said that his, like... I think his sister has a few kids. And so if the kids were born and raised there, I'm sure they have very similar accents to me. So they were able to pinpoint that. The other time I was out and somebody asked where I was from in Canada because they had noticed that Shadow's dog collar had a big maple leaf on it. That's my attempt at Canadianizing my dog, despite the fact that, you know, he'll probably never get to go to Canada. Just because I wouldn't feel comfortable sticking him in a cargo hold on a plane. If there was such a thing as like dog-friendly cruises and we could bring Shadow on like a doggy cruise across the Atlantic, then I think that would be awesome. I would be down for that. Don't know how he would fare in the wide sea. I wonder if dogs get seasick. They must, similar to people. I know they can get car sick, so I feel like it begs the question, or I think it, you know, grounds the question of whether or not they could get seasick. Is the sheer fact that they can get car sick would answer that question. Actually, it'd be interesting to know because friends of ours are driving to Ireland over Christmas and they're going to be taking the ferry with their dog. So I have to ask if Millie, one, enjoyed the car ride. I don't know if you're allowed to get out of your car when you get on those kinds of ferries. I've never been on one. But if they can and she can walk around, I wonder how she'd feel about it. Actually, I guess I can move this up a bit so you can like see the whole thing. That might be a bit nicer for people. You can start to see a bit more of the detail of the project. We are flying through this today. It's good though. The more we can push through the, like, what, 16 pages worth of project, the more we can work on this, the better. I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna, again, it's not even, we're just in the second week of Christmas, but my nephew, like, we're having a family little meetup on Saturday, and usually he's pretty good, but sometimes he gets bored and he likes to explore around the house, and all of our Christmas presents to people are in the spare room, and I can just imagine him, like, wandering around and being like, oh my god, what's this? And I'd be like, ah, crap, like, I'm not as good at hiding things. So if I wrap them preemptively, then he can't see what it is, and then it doesn't matter if he finds them, because he knows that they're gonna be, like, he would know if he sees, like, wrapped Christmas presents upstairs that he has to wait till Christmas to know what they are. Whereas if he just sees them, then it ruins the surprise, doesn't it? Had a little back knot situation. I feel a sneeze coming on. Oh man, there's such not. Oh, when sneezes get stuck, oh, that's such an uncomfortable feeling. I think I remember somebody telling me in high school that if you mouth the word watermelon, it would stop your desire to sneeze, like if you had a sneeze coming. Because I think he said, like, where he worked, it was really weird. He was, because he worked at the Starbucks in Chapters, and he used to say, like, oh, we weren't allowed to, like, sneeze in front of the customers, I guess. I don't know, it was this weird thing, which I guess kind of makes sense, because you don't want to be, like, sneezing all over people's food and shit. But it was this weird thing where it was, like, that seems like a strange thing, people sneeze. But one of the things that he had said to me was, like, oh, if you mouth watermelon to yourself, then you won't sneeze. But that trick has never worked for me, so I call bullshit. maybe it works for some people, or maybe I'm just not, you know, moving my facial muscles in a way that deflates the sneeze trigger, but another little back knot. It's alright. Shit happens. There we go. I'm getting warm. I feel like I was cold all day. Oh, now I'm actively warming up. Oh. Let's put my hair up and see if that helps. Finish the tea. Oh, I've been playing more Dreamlight Valley. It's been a good time, except I needed a bunch of Dreamlight to unlock a specific world in order to finish one of the main, main storyline quests. But then I got impatient and used up all my Dreamlight to open up other things, and now I'm slowly grinding to get back up to 15,000 to unlock a particular land. So far, yeah. There's enough going on and there's enough to distract me, because I completely forgot about all of the, like, worlds you could travel to and the castle that you unlock with Dreamlight. So I finally went in there and checked, because I hadn't been in there in such a long time because I was so busy grinding with the story quest, that I was like, oh yeah, like, is there not something I'm supposed to do in here? And then I was like, yeah, bitch, you could have been unlocking different realms and inviting new friends to your village the entire time. Whoops. So we brought Wally in. I finally brought Ariel in. And yeah, now it's just trying to... Basically, I need dried ginger, and it's in a specific world, and I need 15,000 Dreamlight to unlock said world. And I got impatient and used it to go get Wally and visit Moana and unlock another place that, like, literally had nothing going for it. So, whoops. Jeez, I'm getting tons of little knots today. I wonder why. Where did this one come from? I guess it doesn't really matter, but the game pulled the Skyrim on you. That also happens to me most of. Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what happened. I was so busy focusing on one thing that I completely just wildly late. No, not late at all, Saul. We have just been chilling. We've just been chilling and stitching. Just having a chill Thursday. How are you doing? Just need to get this knot that I stitched in here. But yeah, that's what happens. I keep getting distracted by other activities, or it's because, like, I felt like I've been grinding so much without any payoff that I just go, ugh, just to get, like, that serotonin boost. Then I just, you know, use all my points to open up something, and then I'm back at square one, grinding away again. Okay, let's fix this knot. Yeah, we've just been chilling. I didn't finish my my Studio Ghibli ranking on Tuesday, so we still do have the top 10. And to be fair, Saul, that was mostly because I felt bad that you had only heard all of the shit hot takes before you had to leave. And I was like, well, I will save the top 10 so that we break it up a little bit. No, exactly. So we still have top 10 to go because I think it's because I didn't think I was going to finish all of them, and then it felt weird to just like leave only a couple of outstanding movies, so I figured I would do the whole 10. But yeah, so we've not gotten there yet. We're catching up on some stitching first, and then we will dive in, as they say. And then we do also have a giveaway going on if you want, for a couple keychains. So we'll give these guys away today. So that will be some options. We have 7 to give away in total, but I figured I'd give away 2 today and then do others later on in the month. But yeah, as of right now, we're just catching up on things. How are you doing? How's life? How are tings? Yeah, well, it's meant to be. I feel like I've been teasing this for so long that I was gonna do a 200 follower appreciation thing, and then stuff got in the way. So now it's finally happening. You are now 33. Ooh, is your birthday today? Is it today, or was it recently and I missed it because I suck? If so, if it's today, happy, fabulous, wonderful birthday. It's today. Oh my goodness. Happy birthday, Saul. Happy birthday, my fabulous friend. Yay. Here, let me send you. Oh, I hate this thing. That's all right. Woohoo. There we go. Actually, this is the hour you're born monthly. No way. That's awesome. Oh, see, we could do this time to, let me see. We could do you know your birth chart? This is roughly the time you were born. Ooh. See, now, do I still have this? I haven't downloaded it in a while. Should we just, like, real quickly pull up your birth chart, Saul? Do you have any interest in astrology at all? I went through this phase where I was super obsessed with knowing what everyone's birth chart was. It's downloading. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because then it's like, you obviously have your sun sign, but then if you know the time you were born, then it'll also give you your rising sign and your moon sign, and you can have your whole ass chart, and then when you see astrology memes on the internet, you know what they're talking about. Yeah? Let's see. Charts. Let's make a new chart. Here we go. Soul. The Seeker. I know you didn't ask for this, but I'm curious now. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you don't, yeah, there's no point in putting all of your stake in the thing. And were you born and bred in the UK, sir? I believe you were. Let me consult the map of friendship for your, because you also got to know your location. So let's go find your general location. Things are being very slow today. All right. Oops. the map we shall consult. Where's my homie? There we are. I think you actually gave me like your exact location. You're like North London area, aren't you? Yeah. Yes. North London. We'll split there. That seems accurate. Okay. So today is your birthday, and this is roughly the time you were born. So do you actually know the exact time you were born? Or is it... Because it changes, your rising sign changes every 10 minutes. Based on the time. Yeah, it's close to 3 p.m. Cool. Boom. 3 p.m. Excellent. Oh. You did not edit the date. Yes. All right. So let us check. This is your chart. Your sun sign is in Sagittarius, which makes sense. Your moon is in Gemini. What's your rising sign? Oh, your rising sign is also in Gemini. Oh, interesting. Yeah. But yes, would we see, ooh, is there, see, this is what your chart looks like. I don't know where, I don't know how to specifically read these, but this is your planetary structure. So, let's see. And your sun is also in your 7th house. So there's houses and there's signs. Should we do some reading? You can see whether or not this resonates with you at all. Actually, most people resonate more with their rising sign than anything because it's like around the time you were born. So see if this resonates with you or not. So your ascendant, your rising sign is in Gemini. Believe Gemini's, ooh, I think that's an air sign. Is that an air sign or a water sign? Wow, I'm like really not going for it. Let me just read the thing. Gemini rising people are airy and intellectual, glib of tongue, and curious about life and about other people. Your ruling planet is Mercury, and Gemini is a sign associated with thought process, based on duality, also communication and the conscious mind. Gemini people can experience two sides of things, and you tend to be flighty, engaging in many varied experiences to gain knowledge. Since nothing escapes your attention, you possess a vast fund of information based on your observations. This all seems very accurate to me. From what I know about you, this all seems pretty good. You are witty and have a good sense of humor, and you are likely to be an excellent conversationalist. That is very true. You make a good teacher. You can be nervous and high-strung and may be mischievous. Unlike possessive Taurus, you tend towards liberty in relationship. You can be easily bored, but under control of self-discipline. You have tremendous intellectual and artistic possibilities. There you go. That's your rising sign. If it's based on what time you were born. If it was based on you being born at 3 p.m. If you're born after 3 p.m., if you're born between 3 and 3:10, that's accurate. If not, it could be a completely different sign. But moons are always interesting too. But yeah, there's like, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that I got super, super into for a time, but I feel like I've only really like skimmed the surface of in terms of like my level of of attention to detail. But yeah, you could really become like a full-fledged astrology nerd if you wanted to. But there you go. That's my gift to you. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I thought that. Butter you up. Butter you up. The signs are saying that you're an excellent conversationalist, very attentive and intelligent, very passionate. And I would say that those are all very good markers of you. That's all very, very accurate. A very accurate Sol in my mind. No, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe your sun sign. I think Mercury is the one that discusses how you handle conflict. So maybe it says you settle conflict by getting beat up. I don't think so, though. Let's see. Oh, do you want to see? Ooh, there's a daily horoscope. Oh, there's lots of different ones. I just want, like, generic one. Today's astrological influences. Okay. Transitioning sun in strong conjunction with the natal sun. Hey, it's your birthday, or almost, or just after. To make the most of it, reflect on where your life may be leading you this time around. The exact time of this transit is a good moment for new beginnings, but are also a few days before and after are an ideal time to reflect in your conscious mind about the process you find yourself in the midst of. This could be largely unconscious process, and you are striving to make more conscious something deep inside you. You may know more than it is telling. Interesting. Okay, yeah, let me see. I feel like Mercury is the one that controls, like, how you deal with conflict. I'm a pacifist and run away unless I'm being caught, then I'm beat up. Yeah. Okay. So Mercury, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mercury. Or is it Mars that dictates? Where's your Mars? Mars in Gemini. I know sometimes astrology, it's like you read into it what you will, but your Mars in Gemini or in the third house, so Mars in Gemini gives an alert, witty, and energetic nature, possibly inclined towards sarcasm. Oh, really? Oh, are they really? It says, you are adventurous and physically active. I feel like, you know, that maybe you would be if not for those damn knees. Although potentially inclined to be nervous and high-strung. Are you high-strung, Sol? Ooh, I don't know. I don't think so. You are glib and communicate very well with others, although you may be a better talker than listener. Interesting. If you have any weaknesses in this area, it is being somewhat sharp with friends and relatives, or possibly indulging in gossip. Ooh, scandalous. You have a natural mechanical ability and do many things well. The outpouring of your energy is strongly centered on siblings, friends, and associates, possibly stemming from early educational experiences, and in communicating your truth to others around you, perhaps by means of writing. You benefit by practicing kindness in speech and by learning to focus and concentrate your considerable energies. Interesting. Hi, Ray! Good morning! Like I said, bits and pieces. Take with it what you will. But that is my gift to you. No, I think a lot of it sort of... There was just only the sarcasm bit in that felt authentic to me. The rest of it sort of felt meh in terms of accuracy. But not too bad. Shall we... Here, I will give information about everything that's going on. And shall we start... Hi! Hello, Aurora! Good afternoon. Shall we start the top 10 Ghibli ranking? Just to show everybody, because we have talked about it as of Tuesday, if you guys don't know. to culminate Studio Ghibli month, I watched all 23 Studio Ghibli films and proceeded to rank them. We got from 23 to 11, and then I decided I might as well save the top 10 for today. So we'll see how much chitty-chatting I get into. I feel like Fridays was very Tuesdays I felt very unhinged and blabbery about everything, but that's fine. We can continue forth and keep going. So let's pull this up. So like I said, number 11 was Arrietty. So let's start with our top 10. Number 10, the self-described most depressing movie of all time is Grave of Fireflies, which was, here, let me pull up my notes over here as well. Directed by Isao Takahata. This came out as a double feature with My Neighbor Totoro. I think because My Neighbor Totoro, they thought it was a risk to create that movie or release it. They didn't think it was going to be critically successful. And that one actually wasn't, but we're not talking about that film. We're talking about Grave of Fireflies. That one came out, again, 1988, the same year that My Neighbor Totoro came out. And this is a film that takes place during the Second World War in Japan and revolves around two children. I think the main boy is 14, I want to say. Yeah, Seida and Setsuko. So a teenage boy and his 5-year-old little sister. And it's all about them not surviving the Second World War. The movie, there's no qualms about it. The movie starts with the quote, like, on this day, I died. And then it retroactively is a reflection on how this teenage boy and his little sister got to this point. So I had been told that this was going to be a really depressing film. Obviously, it revolves around child death, preventable child death in some instances, or in some iterations, I would say. And yeah, so I went into it knowing that it was going to be really intense. But I think because I had built myself up to realize how intense this was going to be, I actually didn't end up crying in the end, and I kind of felt like a shitty person because I had built it up so much in my brain that this was going to be so intense and so heavy and so hard to watch. And it was. But I think because I had done that and mentally prepared myself, I then came out less scathed than I maybe would have. I think it's an interesting... I'm reading up about the film later. I thought it was very interesting because one of the main plot points of the film is the fact that this teenage boy and his little sister move in with a great aunt because both of their parents, well, their dad is fighting, he's a naval officer, so he's out fighting in the war, and their mother passes away during an air raid. And so they end up living with a distant aunt. And the aunt then, over time, like, food gets rationed, things are getting very scarce. And the aunt sort of gets a little bit shitty about the kids. Like, oh, you're not doing enough to help out. There's a war going on. You're not doing your part. You know, all this kind of stuff. And basically calling them, like, spoiled little brats. Not acknowledging the fact that, like, literally they have no one. So the teenage boy, in an act of defiance of this aunt sort of mistreating them, moves him and his sister into an old air raid shelter, and they basically create a little life for themselves away from everyone else. So some iterations of it, or some critiques of it, the older generation of people in Japan thought that what the teenager did was very selfish, and that, you know, given the circumstances of war, everyone sort of has to go through some stuff, but at least they were safe, they had the rationed food, they were doing things sort of correctly. Whereas I guess when the film came out, a lot of the sort of younger generation in the 80s watched that film and were like, absolutely, this young boy made the right choice because he was being disrespected by this woman and treated very unfairly, and he had to get himself out of that situation. So it was very interesting. I think that's the thing that I enjoyed more about the film, is reading up about the critiques or the interpretations of the main characters in the film. I think this film, I remember reading, what was it? About... Yeah, it's based off of a book by author Akiyuki Nosaka, and I think his sister did pass away from starvation during World War II, and this sort of this story that he wrote was sort of like a love letter to her, and sort of like discussing how he sort of failed her in that regard. Yeah, I don't know. It was very beautiful. Again, I think animation-wise, too, it's also considered a very big deal because all of the animation is done with brown outlining instead of black outlining to make everything feel a bit, like, softer in the animation style, which is interesting because brown is more difficult to use because it doesn't contrast as well, so they kind of did that as a personal animation challenge for themselves. So that was interesting. But yeah, rounding out top 10, the most depressing animation movie of all time, but not, I didn't cry because I had mentally prepared myself for it. So if you mentally prepare yourself for this film, I do think it's a good thing to watch at least once, but just mentally prepare yourself. And also, it's not available in the UK on Netflix. We had to buy it on Amazon Prime. And I have a conspiracy theory that Netflix markets all their Studio Ghibli films as family-friendly children's films, and they obviously can't do that with this one, and I think that's why it's not in Netflix's wheelhouse. So, number 9 is Castle in the Sky, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. This one came out in 1986. So it centers around 2 little kids. One of them is a princess who's escaping captors. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it would have messed with the algorithm, so they decided to not include it. So, yeah. Castle in the Sky follows Shita and Paku. I think it's Paku or Ponzu. Let me check. Let me double check. I'm very unprepared. I didn't take notes. It's fine. Yeah, it's Patsu, who works in a mining town, and he uncovers this girl, Shita, floating down from the heavens with a glowing necklace. And he is chasing this dream of trying to find this floating castle in the sky called Laputa, because I guess his father came across it when he was flying through the sky and took a photo of it, but no one believed him, and he died like a fraud, essentially. And so Pazu wants to find it and sort of avenge his father. But while this is happening, there is the government and some like evil dictator who's voiced by Mark Hamill in the English dub, who's trying to capture Shita because she possesses this magical stone. And it turns out, she's the key to finding Laputa. And there's also some zany bounty hunters, which are kind of cool. They end up like sort of befriending and taking in Pazu and Shita. There's really badass looking robots that actually are really caring. The movie itself is very visually beautiful. Interestingly enough, the Japanese voice of Pazu is also the same woman who voices Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. Because I recognized the character's voice, and I thought that maybe it was Naruto, but it wasn't. It was Monkey D. Luffy. So another popular anime character. Not the one I thought it was. But yeah, I think this one's really pretty. I think the soundtrack is really great. I do find, like, the children are really young and sort of carefree, and I like the fact that, I don't know, they just seem to have this really cute bond with each other, and that's really nice. Yeah, I don't know, there's not a whole lot to say about this film, except it's very visually beautiful. I do think, actually, one thing to say, Mark Hamill is the baddie in the English voice dub, but the English voice dub also has James Vanderbeek as Pazu, and he sounds like he's 20 years old, when Pazu looks like he's maybe supposed to be like a 10-year-old boy. So the voice doesn't match the character in the English dub. And also Anna Paquin, I think, voices Sheeta in the English dub. And they're just not very convincing as, like, little children. So I actually preferred the subtitled version and the traditional, like, the original Japanese voice actors, because they actually sounded the age they were supposed to be, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel like in the English version they don't. Though Cloris Leachman is the voice of the, like, main bandit lady, and she's kind of cool too. So, this is my hot take. I had a couple hot takes. So my first hot take was that last week we discovered that I don't have Kiki's Delivery Service in the top 10. And I will not apologize for that. Just as so, I'm putting... Oops. Yes. I'm putting My Neighbor Totoro at number 8. So, Totoro's not in my top 5. Big hot take. And this is because, like I had mentioned before, Studio Ghibli films can be categorized as 3 things. Slice of life films, usually about Japanese life, epic fantasies, or somewhere in between. My Neighbor Totoro is very much like a slice of life film with fantastical elements. I think Totoro is adorable. Obviously, he is the mascot for the Studio Ghibli enterprise. I think that there's amazing moments that occur in the film, but not a whole lot actually happens in it. There's just a lot of, like, cute moments that are grounded with the fact that these 2 little girls, I think it's Satsuki and Mei, their mother's currently recovering in the hospital, I think from tuberculosis. And so they move into this, like, country town to be closer to the hospital. And the fact that I think when their mom gets out, that's sort of marketed like they need to sort of retire to country life in a way. You want every film to be Terminator? No, I don't. I don't want every film to be Terminator 2. Judgment Day. No. You'll see in my top 5 what I want the films to be like. It is funny, though, because I do feel like another film that's in my top 5 could also be given this same argument, but, you know, it's a personal opinion. I don't know what to tell you. Judgment. I don't even know if I've actually seen Terminator films. I don't even know if I've actually ever watched a Terminator film. So maybe I do want all movies to be like Terminator 2, but I've just never personally seen it to know if that's the reference I want to go with. But yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with the film. I think, again, similar to Kiki's Delivery Service and Arrietty, it definitely brings the vibes, you know? Like, the cozy comfort, Ghibli, like, beautiful nature vibes. But in terms of actual, like, narrative storytelling, I'm kind of like, meh, you know? But Totoro's amazing. Actually, the best scene in the world is obviously the one that they're sort of alluding to on the poster, when Totoro is given an umbrella and he absolutely freaks out and gets so excited about it. That is probably like 10 out of 10 best scene in the movie. But yeah, the overall movie is kind of like, you know. Next is kind of, it's like unofficially, canonically a Studio Ghibli film, because this film, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, was considered the first Studio Ghibli film, but it came out before the actual creation of Studio Ghibli as a production company. This is the film that actually gained critical success that allowed Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata and Toshio Suzuki to create Studio Ghibli. So this is the film that effectively started it all. Nausicaa, not nausea. So this one's really great. This is like a post-apocalyptic film. Basically, industrialization has caused the forest to become a toxic wasteland, and Nausicaa lives in this valley of the wind. It's called an ohm. It's a giant beetle, and the ohm giant beetles roam the earth destroying industrialization in their wake. So basically what happens is industrialization pissed off the forest, and so the forest had completely covered itself in toxic spores, making it uninhabitable. And so Nausicaa, she has this innate ability to communicate with the Ohm and the other bugs and creatures in this toxic environment, and she's trying to kind of research and figure out what's going on and if they can sort of reverse what's been happening to the society. And she lives in the Valley of the Wind, which is, it's protected by the spores. But then they have these sort of these uninterrupted guests are from other colonies that end up crash landing in their valley and end up taking it over. And their whole thing is that they're just trying to destroy the forest and trying to basically decimate it, decimate all of the Ohm, all of the big termite characters in order to basically so that they stop getting attacked. But what Nausicaa is trying to let everyone realize, or what people don't understand, is that the reason why they're being attacked by the bugs and by the spores is through their industrialized behavior. So yeah, it's sort of like but in the same vein too, like there obviously needs to be the functioning society. So it's all about the sort of fine balance between nature and industrialization. There's obviously another film, if you don't know, on this list that does that as well, if not better, more refinedly. This one was the first, and then they do it better in another one. This is actually also a manga series as well. Hayao Miyazaki, who's the director of this film, also created a graphic novel version, which I guess goes into a lot more detail. The other thing I thought was really interesting as well is that they decided to depict the sort of big bads, or sort of the nature that was rebelling against society as bugs, because people have a hard, like, and to try to show the humanity of bugs, I think was a personal challenge, because a lot of people obviously have fears of bugs. They think bugs are gross. They wouldn't care if, you know, humans purposely tried to battle and destroy the bugs. Whereas in Nausicaa, it tries to humanize, or not humanize them. That feels so weird when you try to humanize something that isn't human. But tries to promote empathy and give you an understanding of the point of the bugs and what their purpose is for, and to live in harmony of them. Because obviously people get upset when, you know, animals, like cute, fuzzy, cuddly animals get killed by humans. But when bugs do, it elicits less of a sympathy. But you still do feel bad for these bugs, and it's a good test of good storytelling if they can make you feel bad for something that traditionally humans don't really have any empathy for. Yeah. So, yeah, I would recommend this one. To be fair, I would recommend all the films on the list. Anthropomorphize. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they anthropomorphize them. And then number 6, which I think is maybe a hot take. I don't think it's as hot as my Totoro take, but it's Spirited Away. And Spirited Away is, I think, the most critically acclaimed Studio Ghibli film. It's the one that won an Oscar and really put Studio Ghibli on the map. It came out in 2001. It follows Chihiro, who ends up, she's moving to a new place with her parents, and her parents stop to take a rest in this like abandoned amusement park and come across a bunch of food. But then it turns out that they ended up stumbling into a spirit world, and Chihiro doesn't end up eating the food, and her parents do, and it turns them into pigs. So then in order to transform her parents back into humans, she then has to work at the spirit bathhouse that's run by an evil witch named Yubaba. And over the course of the film, basically Chihiro starts as a really like shy, really nervous, really timid young girl. and through the course of the film has to basically grow up and like gain a sort of resolve and understand that she's in control of her life and has the power to overcome adversity and, you know, fight for what she believes in. And yeah, like it's kind of like it's kind of a coming of age story, but within the realms of more of a fantastical epic. Obviously that's where our homeboy No Face is from, or what Saul likes to call Mr. Many Faces. Man of Many Faces, but Mr. No Face is from there. And obviously there's also somebody named Haku, who also becomes a very important character in Chihiro's life and really helps with her ability to grow and essentially overcome her own fears to get to a point where she can turn her parents back into humans. And yeah, again, it's critically acclaimed for a reason. It's such a fabulous story. You learn a lot about different... if you want, like, it gives you a platform of jumping off to really look into a lot of other Japanese spirits, because they do reference them visually in the film, and then you can kind of go and deep dive and be like, oh, what is this one? Like, what is this one, sort of thing. So, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Very funny song. But yeah, Haku is great. Not Hachu. But yeah, number 6. We are now about to enter the top 5. The top 5, well and truly. Starting with... I did mention the pigs. That's what those are the parents. Speaking of pigs, you like that transition? This one is Porco Rosso, which I think people absolutely sleep on. And I 100%, Saul, I think you actually genuinely would enjoy this film. You know how we talked before about how The Wind Rises was about the World War II plane creator? And I was like, this film's really boring. Like, I enjoy films that have airplanes, but not films necessarily about airplanes. This is the film that has airplanes. And, like, the story arc kind of has airplanes, but it's a lot more about that. It's so zany. It basically follows this man, Porco Rosso, who is cursed to have the face of a pig. And basically, he was involved in I think it was maybe World War II. It was a potential battle. And now he's a bounty hunter for sea pirates on, like, the Adriatic Sea. And so it's just really about his adventures and him trying to make it as, like, a bounty hunter. But he then ends up befriending this girl who helps create and, like, beef up his plane for him and stuff. And it's just so silly. Like, the sea pirates are really funny. There's this amazing scene at the beginning of the film that just, like, sort of sets the silly tone, where Porco's lying on he's, like, hanging out in his little hideout. And because he's a bounty hunter, he gets called up that these sea pirates are going to infiltrate, or basically go and raid this particular boat. And there happens to be a school tour on board. And so the sea pirates take these 15 little schoolgirls as hostages, but they just think it's the funniest thing in the world. They're like, oh my god, you're a sea pirate? That's so cool. We're hostages? Oh, that's interesting. Like, let me look at your plane. What is it you actually do? And they're more just, like, in the way. And these, like, sea pirates are just such buffoons that they're, like, they actually have really good souls and hearts. And they're, like, being really attentive and caring to these quote-unquote hostages who are basically just, like, running rampant on their seaplane. And then Porco Rosso shows up and basically, like, destabilizes their plane. And then all the little girls are like, don't worry, we're on the swim team. We'll, like, jump off the plane and swim to safety. And then Porco ends up rescuing the hostages. And they're like, what are you doing? Let me see your plane. And he's like, get these children away from me. And they're just like, whatever, this is great. And yes, the very attractive woman on the front, that's Gina, who runs this hotel in sort of the center on, like, an island in the Adriatic Sea that basically is like a no man's land for sea pirates. And so it's kind of like a Switzerland where everyone can go there, drink, be merry, have a great time. and put their sort of like quarrels outside of them, and then when they leave within like 100 feet of the perimeter, then they can go back to their bounty hunting and their sea pirating and stuff. But yes, Aurora, 100% I do recommend rewatching this one. It's just so silly. I actually rewatched it yesterday because I was like, I just really want to go hang out with Porco Rosso again. There's another whole, yeah, exactly. There's another whole point in the film where there's this American named Curtis who comes in, and his whole thing is he wants to have a dog fight with Porco, and they end up having this hilarious dog fight at the end where both of their planes are really souped up, but their ammunition's jammed, so they're flying in the air and they just start throwing stuff from their plane cabins to try to hit each other because they don't have any, like, their guns have jammed. And then they end up landing their planes, and because they, like, no, there's no clear winner, they just end up grudge match boxing it out at the end, and it's just so silly and unnecessary, but, like, just so fun. This is, like, the most fun Ghibli movie in my eyes. Like, nothing, it doesn't take itself too seriously. There is some interesting commentary about, like, war and the expectation that, you know, all the good guys end up dying, and Porco sort of feels, I think part of the reason why he has the pig face is he's kind of cursed because he participated in the war and everyone around him died and he's kind of still around and he has a lot of guilt about that. So there is some underlying, like, deeper messages about that sort of thing, but it's just surrounded by, like, zany, fun airplane shenanigans. Is more what it is. And I definitely, like, 100%, if you don't watch it, like, if there's no other Ghibli film that you watch that you've, like, not heard of and think you should check out, I absolutely think you should check this one out. 1,000%. This is my, like, top pick for everyone. Because I think, obviously, like, my other, like, the rest of the top 5 are great, and I personally love them all. But I think some of them maybe aren't for everyone. I do think that everyone could find something to like about this film. Even if you think, like, oh, it's about, like, plane flying bounty hunters. You're like, that doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. Give it a chance. Give it a chance and let me know. Right? Yeah. Fun Ghibli. We like a fun Ghibli film. We don't need to take itself too seriously. It's very cute. Alright. So remember how I said that Nausicaa was the battle between industrialization and nature, and that there was another film that also did this, and I said objectively did it better? Obviously, I'm talking about Princess Mononoke. If you don't know, Princess Mononoke follows Ashitaka, who is a member of a remote tribe of people who ends up going toe-to-toe with a boar god who's been cursed. And the curse then ends up infecting Ashitaka, and he ends up finding, like, a big, basically a pellet of lead in the boar's stomach, and goes west to investigate why there's this chunk of iron in this boar and try to see if he can reverse the curse on him. So he then stumbles across Iron Town, that's run by Miss Baddie herself, Lady Eboshi, who is mining all of the iron in the forest and is sort of combating her industrialization against the forest spirits and gods. And that's how Ashitaka meets San, who's raised by the wolf god Boro, and they live in the forest, and their whole thing is trying to obviously stop Irontown from its industrialization. But the cool thing about this, and I think what's really interesting about most Ghibli films, is there's no sort of, like, cut and dry, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy situation. Because as you get to know Lady Eboshi, you realize that she's actually doing this for the people of Irontown. And the people of Irontown are, basically people that are from the sidelines of society. And they actually feel rescued and feel indebted to Lady Eboshi. Because it's a lot, like, there's a whole section of the town that's all lepers. So people that have basically have leprosy, that have been pushed on the fringes of society, have been basically written off. She's then taken them and brought them to Irontown, and they're the ones who work on the guns and the creation of firearms based on the mined iron from the town. And then a lot of it is then mined and smeltered by women who used to all live in brothels. And so they always, like, Ashitaka has an interaction with them where they're like, oh my god, like, this seems like really hard work. And they're like, it beats working in a brothel. Like, this is actually amazing. This is good, honest work. I would rather be doing this. Not to say that sex work is bad. I think in this instance, it's more that they didn't want to be in that line of work. And so Lady Eboshi offered them an opportunity to do something other than that, and they prefer that. So obviously the film culminates with a big battle between sort of nature and industrialization, with sort of not really a finite conclusion, which is fair, because again, there's no, like, quote unquote big bad that once the big bad is dead, that's it. There's a happily ever after. I think it's more complicated than that, and I think that's the cool thing about Ghibli films, is that they leave that to be complicated, which is nice. But again, this is another one that I would rewatch, but again, it's a lot more, like, it's a lot more violent. Like, the intensity of it is a lot higher. It's a lot, yeah, like, a lot more intense. I do think that it's worth watching. Again, I think Spirited Away is another one that's also really worth watching, but I think sometimes it cannot, I don't know, these ones I think might not appeal to everyone the same way that I think Porco Rosso will. But obviously it's a very beautiful film. The characters are really cool. They're, like, multifaceted. They're not, like, sort of one-dimensional. Yeah, it's a good time, obviously. And San and Lady Eboshi are both badasses. And we love strong female characters. Now, top 3. Number 3 is Ponyo. Good old Ponyo. Considered, I think, the most family-friendly of the Ghibli films. The most, like, quote-unquote childish film in a way. It's a take on the Little Mermaid story. So it follows Ponyo, who's a little fish, who then wants to be human and ends up becoming really good friends with a little boy. Let me remember what his name is. What is the name? Sasuke. So Sasuke is this 5-year-old boy who comes across Lil Ponyo, who's a little goldfish princess, who eventually turns into a little girl. And it's just this fun, it's a take on the Little Mermaid, but it's just so sweet and endearing. And because Ponyo is like a princess of the sea, she has, like, magical properties, and her family also does, and so there's some sort of zany, like, elements that happen with the ocean, where the ocean sort of takes over, and basically, it sounds really bad, but it basically floods a big part of the town that they live in, and then they have to kind of go on an adventure to find Sasuke's mom. And it's really cute, and I think sometimes with movies, what happens is it's where you're at mentally in your head that then kind of indicates whether you like or dislike a film. So because the main antagonist or the main protagonist in this film is a 5-year-old boy, and I have a 5-year-old nephew, all I could see is, like, I projected my nephew Henry onto Sasuke, and I got so enamored because I could pick just, like, the sense of wonder and the sense of, like, acceptance and just the sense of enjoyment in life that this little boy has, and I could see that by proxy through my nephew's eyes. That made me fall in love with this film even more. So I feel like because I had, like, a personal investment in this child, because I saw so many similarities between Sasuke and my nephew, that made me absolutely fall in love with this movie. And I get that it is the more childish Ghibli film. But yeah, just this character, I was like so protective and so in love with this character that it made the movie that much more amazing to me. Yeah, right? It's so funny how a bunch of these were, like, some of them were watermarked and other ones weren't. I just, like, took screen grabs from the internet of the posters, and some of them were watermarked and some of them weren't. And I was like, I'm not gonna mess about with trying to take that away. That's why. So, my final two films, I think if you already don't know, because I've talked about ad nauseum, you know what the first film is, the number one film, but I can bet even people who know Studio Ghibli films may not have heard of my second favorite Ghibli film. And that is When Marnie Was There. Directed by Hiromasa Yonibayashi from 2014. This film hits me in the feels and hit me in the feels more than Grave of the Fireflies did. And again, I think it's because I wasn't expecting when I first watched this film to be hit in the feels, whereas I had mentally built myself a tough layer around myself for Grave of the Fireflies. This film is so beautiful, visually stunning. I think sometimes it might be a bit difficult to get behind the main character to start. Basically, it's a film about somebody who... Basically, it's about a girl. It's also based on a story. Yeah, it's based on a book by Joan G. Robinson that came out in 1967, and it's a novel of the same name. And basically, it follows this girl named Anna, who... I think she has asthma, she has some health stuff, but she also has a lot of stuff going on mentally as well. She feels very withdrawn and, like, not connected to her classmates, and you find out that she is a foster child, and she suddenly got really cold towards her foster mother, and it's because she came across a check that her foster mother got for taking care of her. Because obviously when you are a foster parent, you sometimes, I don't know if it's sometimes, but at least I know here in the UK, you do get financial, I don't know if it's incentive, but financial compensation to help support the care of the child that you were fostering. So she comes across this check that her foster mother has gotten for taking care of her, and that really messes with her self-esteem and her sense of self-worth, because she feels that the only reason her foster mom is taking care of her is because she's getting paid to, and that she doesn't actually love her, and she really sort of gets in her own head and really starts to withdraw from people. So that, coupled with the fact that she's dealing with some health issues, she ends up going to stay with relatives of her foster mom in this sort of like seaside, like, you know how it's like that old thing where if somebody had a malady, they were like, go to the coast, go to the sea, breathe the fresh salty air. Fresh air will like clear your lungs and help you feel better, that sort of thing. So they send her out that way, and she then ends up meeting this girl named Marnie, and they really connect, and there's sort of a bit of like a fantasy element where like Marnie kind of exists but doesn't. So there's this sort of thing where you kind of don't know if she's real or if Anna's sort of imagining her. And through their connection, they really bring a lot out of each other. And Anna learns how to sort of open up herself to love and to being cared for and all that kind of stuff. And as someone who has worked with, who's done youth work, I've definitely met kids that are similar to Anna's situation. I'd say that. So I'd say this is one of the sort of slice of life films with a bit of a fantastical element to it. Yeah, this is one of those ones, again, like I said, remember how I was like, oh, I usually prefer the large fantasy epics of Studio Ghibli, not so much the slice of life ones? there is exceptions to the rules. So this is one of those ones that is a slice of life coming of age film. Exactly. So I don't know what it is about this film. I think it's just because, I don't know if it's maybe because it's about, like, you know, a teenager struggling a little bit with, like, mental health. And that hits me in the feels because I can, like, identify with that and identify with, like, not feeling a part of something and, like, feeling on the outside of a friend group, or, like, not feeling like you really connect or people understand you, you know, whatever. That sort of a thing. So that feels a lot more real to me. And then, yeah, the interaction, and then when you eventually find out more about Marnie, that's quite an interesting story as well. So it's these two kind of parallel stories that are happening with two girls that are experiencing some sort, like, you know, some emotional stuff, and through their meeting together, sort of like there's a bit of catharsis that allows both of them to sort of grow as people. And goddamn, it always makes me feel the feels. So, yeah. I can already picture, like, Aurora, if you haven't already seen this film and you watch it, I guarantee you're gonna cry. There's, like, certain films that I'm like, I definitely think this will hit people in the feels. But it's really beautiful. Like I said, I do think it's not for everyone because it is a bit sort of slow. And I don't know if you have a hard time maybe having a main character who's constantly, like, shitting on themselves for the first, like, quarter of a film can be a lot. And she's not really, like, the nicest person. There's a moment where there's this other girl in the town who's, like, trying to befriend her and be nice to her, and at one point Anna sort of, like, lashes out at her and is like, you suck, why are you trying to be my friend, get away from me. And obviously that can be seen as really hurtful. Obviously you kind of realize what all of the baggage that Anna has that then results in her acting the way she does. But obviously, like, if that doesn't elicit a sort of, like, empathy from you, or you have a sort of connection that makes you understand where that's coming from, I could see that being sort of like, oh, this is an unlikable main character, I'm not really interested. But for me, it's very beautiful. I found it a very beautiful film, and I do actually want to read the book that it's based on. I downloaded, like, a free preview of it, so I'm going to read a couple pages and see if I like it, and then probably pick it up, because I love the movie so much. And now, without further ado, we all know what the number one Ghibli film is. I will not be taking any questions at this time. It is fact. It is 100% accurate. It's the thing that we've been cross-stitching for over a month. It's Howl's Moving Castle, everybody. Just the best. The best Studio Ghibli film. It's epic fantasy. It's love story. It's, like, not coming of age film. But only Saul can ask questions if he has them, because I know he's not seen any of these films. But it's just so good. It's so good. It's, like, big epic fantasy, little love story, you know, character growth and learning to accept oneself. You know, there's magic, there's humor, there's demons. It's based off of the novel of the same, I don't even think it's of the same name, but it's based off of a novel written by Diane Wynne Jones, who also wrote, though this one wasn't published posthumously, like Earwig and the Witch was. So it's interesting that we've bookended the list with Diane Wynne Jones IP. But yes, this one is amazing. I'm currently listening to the audiobook version of her book, and there are differences between the two. They framed the movie version much more as a love story. it does take a lot more of a critique on war again as well. I think, I don't know if it's anti-war per se, but I know how Miyazaki is, again, similar to Saul, a staunch pacifist. So anytime he sort of references the sort of chaos, it's like he's kind of critiquing everyone's sort of obsession with war. And the whole film has a few different plot points going on, but one of them is the fact that that Howl is this, like, incredible sorcerer, and the king wants to recruit him to basically fight in his army. And this war started because the prince went missing, and that started this whole big scale war. But it turns out that the prince, I don't know, I won't spoil it, but, like, the prince, they figure out what's going on. And it sort of pokes at the fact that, like, I don't know, it's almost like if tensions are already arisen in circumstances, sometimes you just have that straw that breaks the camel's back that then launches into a full-out assault. And it really starts to question, like, leadership and question why people do the things that they do. And why somebody who is staunchly opposed to fighting then gets cast as, like, the bad guy, even though they're the ones who are trying not to do the fighting. But yeah, I don't know, it's just so good. There's some lovable, wholesome characters. Sophie's so incredible. I don't know, man, it just makes you believe in love. Yeah, so good. Recommend, 10 out of 10, best film. So, in conclusion, I don't know if you guys can read that from here, but this is our top, this is the definitive order. Like I said, kind of between, from like 14 to 20, those could all pretty much be interchangeable in terms of my ranking. I feel like there's some that I prefer more than others. All of those sort of, like, bleed together a bit for me. I don't have ones that, like, really stand out over the others, but my, like, 1 to 13 I'm pretty confident about. And then obviously the bottom 4, those are the ones that I'm like, absolutely, those need to be where they are. 14 to 19 could sort of fluctuate in terms of their position, but that's all it is. Those are my hot takes. I don't think there's any that spicy. Again, it's only because some of the more well-known, I think I think they're only well-known because there's a lot of merch, the commercialized ones, like Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service. Those ones not being in the top 5 might be a bit of a spicy hot take. But I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe something to think about is just because a movie has a lot of marketable merch opportunities doesn't mean that they're good. Just because there's a bunch of cute characters that you can buy cute fuzzy toys of doesn't mean that those are the best films. Yeah, are you? Excellent. Because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the first time I watched Ponyo, it wouldn't have been in my top 3. But again, this most recent watch, it just hit me so much more because I have a frame of reference of, like, another 5-year-old in my life that has just as much wonder and acceptance and joy that Sasuke does, that I was like, this is literally like the Japanese version of my nephew, and I love it. And I think if my nephew came across a goldfish girl, he would be just as accepting and nice to her. Absolutely. But yeah. So I think in 10 more minutes, we will draw the first of 2 today giveaway options. So obviously you can click on the link and enter your giveaway, use your channel points. You can win up to 10, or you can enter up to 10 times. You can also do exclamation point enter and it will purchase tickets for you. But yeah. And then, yeah, so we'll do one at 5 and we'll do one at 6. These are the 2 we're giving away today. So we have our Eye of Dragon keychain and our Zombie Tonic keychain that we made, what was it, 2 months ago. We made these in October in anticipation for this. I think I'll throw in some other fun goodies as well. These will all be shipped out in January because, you know, that's how long it's going to take for me to get my shit together. But yeah. So that's what's up. Thank you for listening. But yes, I think of all of the films, if you would like some film recommendations, yes, you can enter even if you dash. Absolutely. So click on the link, the Stream Elements link, or do !enter, and you absolutely can enter. But yeah, if you enter and you pop away and you still win, if I know you and I love you, you will still be considered to win. If I don't know you and you're not in the chat, like, I'm sorry. That's just not how it's gonna work. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, you can buy up to 10 tickets. I think subs have, like, twice as much of a chance, potentially. I don't know. But yeah. That's what's going on. There we go. And then we'll spin the wheel. I don't know how it works, but we will. I think we just close the giveaway and then it will spit out a winner. So we'll do that. Yes, of course. I hope the rest of your birthday goes well. We'll stop by. Are you streaming now? We'll go stop by your birthday stream. Guys, wish Saul a happy birthday. A fabulously wonderful day. And thank you for choosing to spend it, at least for a little bit, with me. I always appreciate you. But yes, so these are my, I don't know, my film recommendations. Obviously, you know what the main, like, Ghibli films are that everyone knows and loves. But I have a couple recommendations for a few different reasons. So, this one wasn't in the top 10, but if you are going through a transitionary period in your life and you kind of are at a crossroads and are trying to, you know, figure out what you want to do, or you're sort of having an internal struggle about what your life should be versus what you actually would want your life to be like, and you are sort of in a very reflective, contemplative state of being. If that is the case, I recommend Only Yesterday. Here, what I'll do is I'll link Wikipedia articles to the films, because that's what I have pulled up right now. You can see if it's your cup of tea. Obviously, if you're in the UK and you have Netflix, all of these films are available on Netflix. If you're not, I don't know where they are. But yes, so if you're at a crossroads in your life and you're looking for some reassurance to, you know, have that internal monologue of what you should be doing versus what you want to be doing with your life and having a bit of a reflective time, I recommend Only Yesterday. If you want just a fun little Ghibli romp, I do truly feel like there is something for everyone. It's silly, it has heart, it has, you know, just fun. Doesn't take itself too seriously, but it has some more deep moments, and you can read into those deep moments if you want. I recommend Porco Rosso, just because it's so good. It's so good. I feel like it's an underrated gem, and I feel like of all of the Hayao Miyazaki films, I feel like this one gets the least amount of credit, and it needs to. It needs to. And then what else do I recommend? Obviously all the gems. Oh yeah, also When Marnie Was Here. Those are the three sort of like lesser knowns that I feel like people will want. If you want to like get into the feels and you don't mind a main character who is, you know, a bit maybe unlikable to start, but it's from a place of depression, essentially. and you want to get in your feels and have maybe a little cry, I recommend that one. And yeah, those are my Ghibli thoughts, my hot Ghibli takes. And then we will do another 4 minutes for people to get in on the giveaway option. Again, like I said, we will draw one in 4 minutes and one at 6. So we have 2 keychains up for grabs. And then over the course of the month, we then have more. Obviously, we will, if you win one, and then I don't want to say it would like invalidate you for the next one. You can enter as much as you want, but obviously 1 win per person. Let me check. Yes, you did. You did. Everyone's got 1 ticket. You can get up to 10 depending on how many points you've got. But yeah, I think you can go via the link, or like I said, you can do !enter and it will give you stuff. But yeah. Excellent. And then yeah, 1 winner per. And we will keep it going. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Hi Brandy, how are you? I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. If you heard my hot Studio Ghibli takes while we are stitching away, I hope this is, luckily this is just a fill. I've not been looking at the pattern this entire time, but I know I'm just supposed to be filling this in, so thankfully I don't have to think about it. I'm doing great. I am doing a-okay. The sun is down. It's always so funny. I start stream with the sun setting, and by the end of stream, it's pitch black outside. It's very silly. But yeah, things are not too shabby. Yeah, no problem. Go get them. Tell them I say hi. We'll chat with you later. But yes, now we'll spend some time stitching away. That's it. We have a minute left. So 1 minute left before first giveaway option. So again, you can click on this link here to enter the giveaway, or you can put !enter. You use your channel points. This is 20 count. I believe. 20 count. I ordered it off of did I order it from DMC? I think it might just be DMC. This is the bag it came in. Yeah. I don't know if, I just assume it's Ada, but I feel like Ada only goes to a certain thickness. Let me see. I actually got what count this recommended. I think it's actually 28. Let me check. 22. Yeah, 22 count Ada. 22 count Ada with 1 strand. 1/1. I'm very close to finishing. Okay. All right, let me finish this, and then we will pull a winner. I tested it earlier, so I accidentally entered myself into my own giveaway, so obviously if that name gets pulled, we will pull again. And just ignore that. Thank you. Yeah, it was a Christmas present. I got it with, it was interesting. I think I actually got it, it was a free one when, I don't know who got it for me, but family got me a bunch of Disney Princess needle minders. And so the company got me, there was a bunch of Disney Princess ones. And then, oh, Belle has many pin on her, many a needle. And so I think because it was one of those where, like, because we got, was it 6? Then they gave them a free one. Which is, but, and to be fair, it sounds really bad, but I feel like the free one is actually one of my favorites. I love all the Disney princesses, but yeah. And then I got a T one and a Canada one as well. All right, let's finish this line here. And then we will do the draw. And then I think I might have to set up a new one in order to draw 2 names. Or I can pull 2. Let me check. I don't know. We'll see. We've never done this before, so we are experimenting and trying new things. Let's go. Yeah, I think if we close it, then we draw a winner. Excellent. So Aurora has won. Excellent. So I don't want to mark the giveaway as a complete. Refund the giveaway. See, I feel like it would be nice. That's annoying that, so you can draw more from the same giveaway. Or you can mark a new one. Because I feel like a couple people entered and I want them to still have the options. But I guess we just have to start another one. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let's do another one real quick. Okay. Send confirmation. Okay. Create and start. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, I guess you can do it that way as well. Perfect. Cool. So we've done one. We'll do the next one. Okay, cool. So again, here, we'll do this. And we will do that one at 6. Sorry, I've never done this before. My brain doesn't know what it's doing. Okay, excellent. What's the public page? Right, okay. And then if no one enters this one, then we'll just pull from the previous one again. We'll see if I can do that. Can I do that? Let me check. If I can, then I will. No, it doesn't look like I can. Maybe I'll pull a name out of a hat. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay, we're gonna. Okay, sorry. I feel like I keep hyping myself up, being like, okay. That's just what I do sometimes. Liam once pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I guess so. But we're gonna finish this page, and then we'll move on. I think this page over here is the next point of action, because I think that's another one that isn't, like, it's another small one. We're sort of, this is all the little, like, top pieces of the castle. And so we don't need to worry so much about full coverage, but obviously when we go back down to these sections, it'll be a lot fuller, which is fine. We do eventually have to go do them, but if I can get little wins as much as possible, the more pages I can tick off, the better. The happier I'll be. Thought I was gonna get everything done with this one line of floss, but it doesn't seem to be the case. That's alright though, because I had a small one that I wasn't gonna use because I was like, oh, I want to try to get full coverage with a single thread, but I think that will be perfect to finish this little section. So I think we'll half stitch all of this, and then we'll go for it. We'll half stitch this line and then we'll flip it. Flip it, park it, snip it. might be time for a little snack break as well. Oh, I've been having such sugar cravings lately. I already told you how I bought this like massive pack of fudge. There's only one thing of fudge left in here. There was fudge, honeycomb, 2 kinds of fudge and honeycomb, and there's only one kind of fudge left in here. But today, I don't know what it was. I think on Instagram I saw somebody talk about s'mores, and I was like, God, man, I wish I had a s'more. So I picked up these chocolate-covered marshmallows today, because I was like, marshmallows. So maybe I'll have one of these today. But yeah, I don't know what it is. As somebody who vehemently touts being a salty snack fiend, I've really not been indulging in such salty snacks lately. I don't know why. It's not as good as a fire roasted, toasted marshmallow, but it will do. Oh, that was not supposed to go there. That wasn't a cross. Whoops. Alright, full steam ahead. 45 minutes to go. Let's get to flipping that page. feel like I'm holding my breath. I don't know why. I'm like, this is not a sprint, Tasha. You can breathe, girl. Surprised if not. Shadow's not asked to come in. He must be fully sparkled on the bed. He's had a full day. I do feel sometimes like being left alone takes a lot out of him, which makes sense, you know, like he's probably like, he doesn't really settle, so he's like pacing and worrying and all that kind of stuff. And then we had a big run around today, so I wouldn't be surprised if he needed a snooze. Family group chat is going off right now. Okay, final 2 stitches. No evil half stitches lurking around, I hope. Let's do a once over before we flip it and park everything. Because we've made that mistake before, haven't we? I think we are finished another page. Brr, 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 brr. Wowie wow. Page 2 in the books. What a momentous achievement. Alright. So now, where are we going next? Where do we go now? Let's take a look at this. Okay, I do think this is the way to go. Let's just figure out. Okay, 60's there. Okay. Just want to make sure I start in the correct location. Okay, so we're starting there. Okay. Okay. So that section here. Yes. Excellent. Page 3. And again, it's just a little section. Just a little guy. It's just a little guy. Perfect. See how much more we can get done in the next 40 minutes. Here is where that is going. Now, do we risk the potential seepage of the color through the back by jumping across. Probably not. Let's be semi-professional about this, and we will park and flip, and then it's only gonna be one. That's the only problem sometimes about doing things page by page is there's like a single color stitch in one section, and you're like, but why? So this one is like finishing off this crow's nest slightly, and then moving on to an additional pillar, sort of similar to this one, but over here, and slightly different colors. I think it's from like a sun standpoint. Like the sun is hitting that one, so it's going to be much brighter, whereas this one's more in the shade. I think. Let's just make sure that we have sufficiently caught the thread. Okay, that 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 4. Again, there's 2 stitches here. One of each color. 1 color each. Oh well. It happens. Let's park this. Actually, we can park it over here. I think we need another marshmallow as well. Okay, now the next one starts here. Okay. Similar thing, if we do this outline, and then we can fill it all in. I say that, but for whatever reason, I really cocked up this outline and ended up filling it in all willy-nilly. But hopefully, I'm better about this one. Three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. should have gone this way and then come back down here, but it's all good. Finish my tea. I did finish my tea. Time to switch to water. Water. Right, half hour left. Let's see how much stitching we can get done. Make sure I'm keeping track of these. Did I fix that? Yes. Almost had another knot, but it's fine. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's beside the fourth one? Yes. 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Hopefully. Fingers and toes crossed. Hopefully, this means I lined everything up correctly. I'm assuming so. These look like they've connected properly, so that's good. We have connection. Save that so we know where we are. This is now 1, 2, 3 on the fourth. So that's 1, 2, 3 on the fourth. That makes sense. Perfect. Oops. should have gone that way, but it's okay. So now we have to do some counting. So bear with me while I continue count. Okay. So we need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the 9th. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the 9th. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the 9th. Now let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the 9th. There we go. Okay. And then this one went down to. This is all going to be filled in, so I don't really mind bouncing around, whereas here this is going to still stay white space. So I wanted to make sure that there was a clear difference between the two. So we didn't want to have any color going behind and popping up. Right now this is just, I think this is still, so that's like a crow's nest, and then we have sort of almost like a clothesline, I don't know, like a little point here that we're going to be shaping, and then there's another pillar similar to that one over here. So that's what's happening on this page currently. I'm sort of trying to do all of the smaller, all the ones that are attached to this main piece but are like minimal coverage pieces, just like little elements, so that we can tick off more pages and feel more accomplished in this massive project. Every little bit helps for the motivation, validation, all that good. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anytime I have to count to 5, I instantly think of Mambo Number 5 by Lou Bega. I feel like any person in like existing around the early 2000s, I feel like they might also have this preconditioned into their brain, or it could be just me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody in the club, so come on, let's ride. Pretty sure Lou Bega is actually German. Oh. Getting a phone call. I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm busy. So if you hear that vibration, that's what it is. I really hope it's not the groomer calling to be like, we have to cancel Shadow's groom, because homeboy desperately needs it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Though I'm pretty sure I saved the groom room in my phone, so hopefully. Unless I know sometimes what happens is the, because it's through Pets at Home, that might be a different line, and then they transfer you to the groom room, maybe. But hopefully. Oh, I can hear Mr. Shadow. Must be awaking from his slumber. We'll see if he lets us stitch for another 20 minutes. He might not. He might be like, yo, it's time to give me attention. He does that sometimes. Hello, sir. How you doing? You can come in. Come on in. a nice snooze? Yeah? Did you have a nice snooze? Hi. You let me finish stitching for another few minutes. Oh yeah, you can smell the chocolate. You definitely can't have that. Yeah, it's bad for you. It is. Chocolate's bad for you. Here, do you want to leave? She's like, what? There you go. His little schnoot said hello. And there's in the spare room. We'll see how long. Hello. You gonna hang out with me for a little bit? 1, 2, 3. Oh, good boy. You trying to get comfy? There we go. Good boy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is now the sort of clothesline section. And then this one is 3. And then I think I will park this one here and then we'll start a new one going around the other way. Hello! No problem, Kat. It's all good. Has work been busy? Wowie wow. That's a bit of a change for you. I feel like sometimes you're bored to tears usually. There must have been some real happenings going on. Yeah, come up with projects from time to time. Oh, wow. They need to be purged. Purge the files. Whatever the digital equivalent is to a firestorm, eh? Blow it up. Throw it on the ground. Purge. That's so funny. You're like, every once in a while, they give me projects. All hell breaks loose. It's busy as balls. No, yeah, that sounds not ideal. Is your boss at least good at explaining things? Because sometimes it's difficult when you're trying to learn something and the person trying to teach you is really difficult to learn from. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense. So they'll like, she'll walk you through it and then you'll, hopefully, it will go smoothly for you. Ooh. Oh, have you? And? I've not even seen the trailer, but I've seen people being salty about it. Interesting. Yeah, good for them, you know? I feel like people will be mad about it, but they're like speaking their truth, and I feel like they should be allowed to do that. Yeah. I personally, because the family that, like, Liam's family, like, we're not really royalists, so it doesn't really matter to us that much. I think if anything, it's better that some glass towers are being, you know, examined a little more closely. Oh, have you? Yeah. I feel like my friend was very Team Harry as well. I don't know if that's because they were, like, closer in our age and therefore, like, felt more attainable than Prince William. I don't know. But I remember her having a thing for him as well. That's funny. Thing for gingers. Hey, man. Everybody got type. That's good you're enjoying it, though. Is it like a docu-series? Like it's multiple episodes? Okay, yeah, I get it. I have a voicemail. I don't care. I did not end up with one. Hey, man, right? Everyone's gotta have flaws, and yours is that there is no ginge. If that's his only flaw, is that he's not a ginge, I think that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. There's 3 episodes. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, like, deadbeat dad comes out of the woodwork when daughter becomes famous. You know? It's, like, just a bunch of clout chasing. So it's good that they're you know, because I feel like they've tried to tell their story so many times, and I feel like it keeps getting twisted. And I'm sure this will get twisted as well, but at least they will have more control over the narrative. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Daily Mail is garbage. Yeah, they're just so, like, tagline sensationalizing and just really... Every once in a while in, like, my Google homepage, I'll get some, like, thing or headline I'll read that piques my interest, and as soon as I see it's a Daily Mail, I'm like, I'm sure it's full of shit, and I'm just gonna avoid it. But yeah, that's definitely one of the worst ones. It sounds really bad, but I don't know, but it's like, it's almost like the paper tabloids. Those ones are worse than, like, the glossy, you know, tabloids. I'm sure they're just as bad, but for whatever reason, those ones just seem so much more out there. And inappropriate. Oh, interesting. Maybe they're cracking down on it. And to be fair, I do feel like within the rise of social media, there's less of a need for, like, tabloids and magazines. Because I feel like a lot of celebrities, people are, they're engaging with their favorite celebrities via the celebrities' social media. And so there used to be this, like, microscope fascination with celebrities. And you didn't know anything about them. They were very mysterious, and it was like, ooh, what are they up to? So you would consume magazines and stuff because that was your only access to them. But now you just follow them on social media. And and it's like, it takes away that filter. You feel closer to them, so you don't need to engage in media because you feel like you've actually realized, like, how different of a perspective that is, and you actually prefer it when it comes straight from the horse's mouth, if you will. At least that's what it seems like to me. Because that's what I found. I'm like, I feel like if I want to know what a celebrity is up to, I just check out their social media. And then I'm like, cool, that's all I need to know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very... I think any person that has any sort of, like, online presence opens themselves up. Yeah, exactly. It's also... It's one of those things, too, that it's, like... Obviously, and this is, like, with anybody, right? Anybody's online presence is curated to show their best self or to show a specific side of themselves. And so people feel like they know somebody personally, intimately, and they might know some facets about them. But it's like, that's not... I don't know, like, they're not... Celebrities aren't your friends, you know what I mean? And people will... Yeah, it just seems very strange. And then also, too, the fact that, like, some people will totally defend people as well. Yeah. Because that's the other thing that I find, too, when it comes out that, like, a particular celebrity may have done something bad, and then there's, like, diehards that are like, absolutely not, this is slander, this is terrible, they would never do that, they're such and such. And I'm like, you don't know that person. What they're projecting to you is a certain thing, and then if somebody who is actually in their life says, no, actually, this person's an asshole, maybe they are behind closed doors, because they're not going to show you their assholeness, because that's a terrible thing. Yeah, like, it's very, very bizarre how people are so ride or die for people, where I'm like, you don't personally know them. And I also, like, it's unfortunate, but I definitely I filter things through the lens that, like, all your faves are problematic. You know what I mean? It's just like, just assume that all your faves are problematic, and there's certain things that are obviously more forgivable than other things, but, like, nobody is fallible. And then to just, like, be so vehemently defensive of somebody who really doesn't give two shits about you is very bizarre. like, there will be certain people that if it comes out that, like, so-and-so is a certain way, I would be disappointed. You know, like, certain people that I, like, certain celebrities that I guess I admire, like, I would be disappointed if it turns out that, like, they were such and such way. But at the same vein, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, they would never do that, I don't believe that, that's, like, bullshit, whatever, whatever. It's like, no, I'm sad that I thought they were a good person and maybe they aren't. That's it. I'm not gonna, you know. Yeah. Like, and if you're gonna personally meet them, I feel like you don't actually know anything about them, so you can't claim that sort of thing, you know? No. I've never personally, like, actually felt like I've met. And, this is really random, but in high school, Kenny Rogers, the, country singer, performed a Christmas concert in my hometown, and I was in a performing arts school, so we sang choir backup for him when he performed in our town. But, like, I didn't personally have a conversation with him. We all have a big group photo of us with Kenny Rogers, but, like, I didn't actually have a conversation with him to determine whether or not I thought he was a good person. But yeah. It is, right? Oh, it's one of those things. It's so funny because I feel like my good friend that her mom brought it up in her, like, when she got married, being like, and she met Kenny Rogers, and I was like, god damn. So yeah. It is, like, low-key, really cool, but in terms of, like, feeling like I had any sort of connection to this person, I would say it's not true. I saw Warwick Davis run through the Grand Floridian one time. There you go, right? Yeah. But yeah, I've witnessed people, but not anyway. Actually, I think he scootered. That's even better. A scootering is even better. That's a funner visual. Yeah. Okay. Did they seem nice as well? Or no? Well, that's nice. I guess you got the photo. And they were, like, you know, nice enough to take that with you. I think the other thing, too, is I don't know. There was somebody that, I would have liked to have met, but I felt weird about approaching them, because again, I'm a shy little introvert and don't want to bother people, so I did not ask to say, I didn't go up and say hi. Maybe I could have, but I didn't. That's nice. Oh, that's cool. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 3, 4. This feels really close, but it is how close it's supposed to be, so I'm not going to question it. There's a react button? I don't know. I have a highlight function. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, interesting. You reacted, lol. I didn't receive it, so I wonder what that looks like. what does it mean to receive a reaction? 1, 2, 3. Interesting. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. I believe. Yes. Oh, you read my mind, Shadow. This marks the end of today's stream. Go. Reactions are an experimental feature available to a number of creators, letting viewers anonymously give feedback during streams by selecting and submitting an emote that's tied to a broader feeling like hype, funny, or love. Interesting. Reactions will be killed down so viewers can't spam them, and streamers will be able to go back and analyze their stream based on timestamp reactions. Oh. Okay, so maybe that's like a retroactive thing. Very strange. Yeah, exactly. I'll take a look. I'll have to take a look and see what's up. All right. Let's go see who is hanging out today. I don't know if Saul is streaming today, but if he is, we have to go and say hi. He is. Because it's his birthday. So we obviously have to go in honor of Saul's birthday and to go say hi to him. It's just, like, necessary. And then there will be no stream tomorrow because Shadow needs to go to the groomer. But we'll be back on Tuesday. And I think next week we're going to dedicate to needle felting a Christmas tree topper for my Christmas tree because we don't have one. And then that's what we'll do. Let's go see the birthday boy. We will be, back here on Tuesday. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for coming in, Kat. I know you had a hectic day, but I always appreciate you stopping by. Let's go.